Hi there, the name's Nico, and today I'll be doing a runover of patch 0.40. So, I haven't really been doing patch note videos because I haven't figured out the best way I want to structure them. I'm going to try out this method where I just give my thoughts on the patch as I just go through them. I'm not going to just read on the patch specific details. Some of them are minor changes that I don't think really need to be mentioned as other details, so I'll mainly be focusing on the main changes of this patch. And yeah, if you like this style of video, just let me know in the comments. So yeah. So here, we're gonna pull out the handy dandy notepad for us to go over the patch. Okay, so I'm not gonna cover the new characters in this, by the way. Hi there, Editing Nico. I decided to change my mind on the new character. I probably should just have done them in the first place anyway. So yeah, so just the basic thoughts on the new character. I think the passive won't be leveled up first. If yeah, I think the passive is pretty niche, and you'll probably level up last. The AP you get for being low health is nothing. Doesn't really do anything. So his Q is probably his best ability. Level up first. This is just getting, what is it, 200% attack speed for your next 3 attacks for 3 seconds is quite good. And just the damage from this is nice too. If you hit a middle, it also do, and you get your cooldown reduced. So yeah, I think this is the thing that you want to level up first, and you also slow them. Inspiration, I think his W is the thing you level up after E. So third is what you level up third. I think it's fine for what it is, but it takes 7 seconds, which is quite long. It needs to be slightly shorter for it to be kind of usable. But yeah, and it doesn't do enough damage for the 7 seconds of it. It does reduce the vision range, but I don't think it's enough. Okay, his E is nice, but won't scale until late game. This is mainly related to the fact that it has no cooldown reduction. It's stuck at 18 seconds the whole time, and I think it's going to be terrible late game. I mean, it's just a standard dash or whatever. And his R, I think, is pretty interesting. But it has certain conditions for it, and the inspiration thing I think takes way too long. But if you do it, you pretty much want to just ult them immediately, because 7 seconds into a fight is quite long. That's why. And it's also cellular damage, so I'll just say it's interesting. But and it can nuke people as well. Takes some time to get it up because of how long it takes to get inspired. And yeah. Okay, and the main things with him is his cooldowns suck. His cooldowns suck for late game because they don't scale. None of them really scale other than his ultimate. They're all flat CC. So, and I think my main thoughts is he's gonna be an auto attacker. Yeah, those are my main things so far. I want to see how he is in game before I really say anything else. But yeah, my base thought is his skill order will be Q, E, W, passive. I think that's the main things I have. Yeah, those are my main thoughts about Daniel. I think it'll be interesting. I thought he'd be stronger based on what they showed, but I think just how the numbers are kind of make me think he might not be as strong Again, I could be wrong on this. I just think his E is his best ability for sure. But yeah, so the first thing is this replay system. I think the replay system is a cool feature that is added. But they said it's gonna be buggy, so which I understand. It still needs to do a lot of playtesting, which is fair. And yeah, I am excited to try it out and see how it is. Yeah, this is nothing. I think the next biggest change is honestly this change to collection and interactions in the collection time. Right here. I think this is like one of the biggest changes of this patch. Because you can't be interrupted by a tree anymore, right? So it's so good for like certain characters like Lenox, who would always just be poked at tree by Sniper Aya, or you have like Cicella. Just all these characters just want to poke you, even if they're like really underbuilt, and they're just poke you, then craft an item, then poke you, so you can get tree ever, which is a pain. So I think this change is honestly really good. I actually did suggest this in the feedback and suggestions page not too long ago, but they probably had this in mind before I suggested it. But this is the exact change I said, that they should make it that you can still take damage when you do these things, but it could be interrupted by CC. And that's what happened. So I honestly think that this is a good change. The next thing, so I'm gonna say Lenox. Even though the Lenox changes are minor, it's just mainly because I main Lenox, and for other Lenox mains, maybe this will be helpful. Honestly, the Lenox like buff, I'm gonna put in quote, sucks. Okay, this doesn't fix the core issues of Lenox right now, and she is one of the weakest characters in solos. Just her main issue is that she needs tree, and she's not the best tree taker right now. There's better characters than her. And so they need to balance her around not having tree items. And just the fact with speed gates being an impressive thing for early game characters in general, not just Lenox, like Fiora, Lee Lin. They really need to address these things somehow. Early game characters are really weak. And Lenox is including. But yeah, I'll just say the buffs honestly suck. They need to do something more. Leon, honestly, Leon is probably OP again. This change right here, it may seem minor, but the fact that he can make pools in any area of his pool is super strong. And the range of it is slightly longer too. So he can come up at a lot of different spots, and this allows him for more play. And you can't predict him as easily now where he's going to come up, so he may actually be quite strong. I mean, he's not as strong as beforehand, but he's still going to be really strong with this. Okay, Rozzi. Rozzi did get some nerfs, but I think she will still be she'll be fine. Yeah, so Rozzi's still strong, but not OP. Mainly, this also relates to Kelte being pretty nerfed, especially with the movement speed, because Rozzi really needs that movement speed, unlike Silvia, who is also like impacted slightly with it. Silvia has her bike, and she can just chase people wherever. Rozzi doesn't have that luxury, so she'll struggle to catch up to people without Kelte, like without the 0.1 movement speed. And these changes honestly aren't that major. 10% on the first hit off of the AP and the second hit too. And she levels up E last anyway, so it doesn't really matter much. The 20 damage off that is minor. Magnus change is interesting, but I don't really have too much to comment on it. Other than, I think it's good. It just prevents Rat Magnus. But he's not... Magnus is not the meta right now, anyway. It's mainly Amp Magnus, so it doesn't really matter. Barbara, I honestly don't know what to think about Barbara, because I know the Barbara stun is a major change for her. But I don't know how this can actually impact her. So yeah, I don't know about Barbara change. I don't know enough about Barbara to actually give a good opinion on this change. I will say she's probably weaker, though. Silvia will still be OP. This change, though it's good because it prevents her from late game, and Kelte did get nerfed, but the movement speed part for Silvia didn't matter because she has her bike system anyway. And even before it got buffed, Silvia would always build Kelte. So it doesn't really matter. I think the slow thing is gonna affect her for the first little bit while people get used to it, but eventually they're not gonna really notice it as much. I know normally what Silvia's doing now is level up to level 3 W, then finish E, then finish leveling W. So you're gonna have 10% less slow if you level up your finish line to level 3 first than compared to before. Because you'd have 35 instead of 45. But I think she'll still be fine. She'll probably still be really strong anyway, and that's not going to do much to her. The next thing, buffed Adela. Okay, why? Why did they buff Adela? I don't understand why they buffed her. This is the thing she levels up last. Adela, I did think she was quite strong. I don't know if she's OP, but she's quite strong. And this is the skill she levels up last, so she has a 4-second for cooldown at level 1, which is like really beneficial for her, so I don't know why they buffed it. Okay, the next thing that's gonna do is Aura has been heavily nerfed. Which honestly, I think Aura is just kind of like pretty easy. Not gonna lie, it's just she could just stand there and right click you, even if they said like in melee range, and she'd still be DPS you. So her shield, so with ARI, you actually proc this 3 times per hit, compared because of how assault rifles work. So you'd actually get like 4.5 seconds done per like auto attack. I'll just say auto in quotes. Now you only get the 3 seconds down, so she'll get her shield up a lot less often. Isol, okay, Isol is dead this patch, okay? Honestly, this change right here is massive to Isol. I think it does more damage, but the fact that it limits him to 1 mine, especially in the final circle, this has just killed Isol. I don't know what the what the dev's thinking with that, especially with the long cooldown being 26 seconds at level 3 for his ultimate. So he's he's dead. Rip Isol mains. I'm sorry if you main Isol. He's no more. Alex is... I'm gonna say Alex is probably dead, but I'm sure I'm gonna be mistaken from this. Even though they buffed him here, the reason why he's dead is because there's no Petal Torrent and Kelte nerfs. Those are the reasons, because pistol skill was like really good with him before from like the last one, so at least he had Kelte, but now Kelte's been nerfed, and Petal Torrent, which is like Alex's main source of damage for his combo, has also been deleted. Pretty much deleted from the game, because Alex cannot get trees reliably, so yeah. Alex is probably dead too. I don't know, but I'm probably going to be mistaken from this, and you can probably mark my words. 11 has been buffed. I don't know exactly why. 11 will be insane in team modes. If you don't know, 11 is one of the best characters in team modes right now. If you're playing squads, there's no reason why you shouldn't be running 11. 11 is like legitimately like one of the best characters for squads. The fact that she can taunt people, she takes less damage as well when you taunt them. And you can set up a lot of combos that way with the 11 taunt. And it's insane. And they buffed the damage on her ult and her E, so she can do the EWR, or it might be REW combo. I don't know exact 11 combos, but she'll probably be more insane in team modes than she already is. Emma. So Emma's been nerfed, which is honestly deserved. But I don't know exactly how this is going to relate to Shuriken Changes. So I'm going to say that she will probably be fine because of Shuriken Changes. The way they've done it is that you can't play auto attack Emma as much, but everything else about Emma I think will be like really strong. So even though they nerfed her Q damage and the cooldown for her hat, and the hat cooldown thing is going to be objectively worse because you run CDR on Emma, but the Shuriken changes will probably make Emma be fine still. I'm not sure, and I can eat my words for this later if that's incorrect. So Ava. Okay, Ava, okay, if you don't know, the main problem with Ava right now is that she has a short wall jump. Short cooldown wall jump. So she just kind of circle strafes and just hops walls that people can't chase her for. So Ava's main problem wasn't addressed, and they buffed her damage. So without addressing the main problem, oh, I didn't mean that. Without addressing the main problem is that she has a 4-second cooldown without CDR, by the way, and it can be impacted by CDR. Hopping walls back and forth. This change is just gonna make Ava do even better. So I don't know. I know Ava's stats probably aren't looking too hot from what I looked, but she's doing fine, and at least like top player in NA has been doing quite well with her. So just because of this wall jumping mechanic. So I just make a side note here: nerf E cooldown, or make it so that she can't wall jump. Make it so she just do this. Can't wall jump. Okay, those are the things that they need to do to fix Ava. And this damage, and they can keep the buff damage. That part's fine. As soon as they address this issue, she'll be fine. But right now, it's annoying if you're anywhere where there's walls. Okay. Next thing, probably Hyejin nerfed finally. There's no compensation nerfs. They're like, oh, we're not gonna nerf one aspect like the last patch. It's just a straight out nerf, and I think it's honestly helpful for the game. Hyejin's been one of the best, if not the best character for like the entirety of the game, and I may have underestimated her a few months ago of how strong she is, but I do agree she's like one of the best characters in the game. This change will still make her, she'll still be one of the best characters in the game even with these changes, but it's a step in the right direction, so I'll give them props to that. Okay. Next one is Hyunwoo. So, okay, so just the main thing is tank brat Hyunwoo is weak, nerfed, but Mark of the Phoenix or Smolder glove still okay, still strong. Yeah, even though they nerfed 4 AP on the glove, I'll just say Mark of the Phoenix doesn't do anything. The problem with Mark of the Phoenix is not the AP on it, it's the fact that it has Smolder. Because that Smolder ticks... You can look at, like, logs if you've ever gone against a Smolder user and look how much damage is done by their weapon. And it's in the thousands. You can get, like, 2,000 damage done by Smolder in a fight. It's insane. So it's not the AP that's the issue with Smolder, it's the it's the stat of Smolder itself. So, sure. Shuriken revamp. I think this is one of the biggest changes, but they've made it a lot more fluid, which I think that being fluid is like just nice for the game, but I think it's also made characters that were weak because of its lack of fluidity become really strong. Like with I guess it says here, the characters that had kits that could pull them into the caltrops, like Cicella or Emma, did really well with it. While characters that could not use the pull, like, I mean, Hyejin somewhat could, because you could fear them technically into the caltrops, but it's not the same as, like, Cicella or Emma's pull. Or in Sahir as well. So this change is, like, better for those characters. So, my thoughts here would be, Shuriken changes better for Hyejin and I gotta put a new line to here. Okay. Next thing about Petal Torrent, Death Rune, Sudarsana. So if you didn't really know, Death Rune and Sudarsana was like rarely built. I saw more Death Runes than Sudarsana. I like never saw Sudarsana. I think I've seen one like 1 or 2 times. It'd always just be PT. So, and what they've done, I guess I'm scrolling down a little too ahead. It's just because it was mentioned there, is that PT was removed from the game. This is because now it needs Tree of Life. So it's now a Tree of Life item, and so people aren't going to run this probably anymore. They'd rather have a Scotty instead. It does 1 more extra scale damage for Scotty, but it's just better to have Scotty in place and just use different weapons. So PT's been practically removed from the game. Next thing would be Azure Dagger and Fuhma Shuriken changes. So Azure Dagger actually viable, and it might actually be very, I'll say, might be meta Shuriken. Why I say this is because before no one would build it just because the routing of it kind of sucked and you just wouldn't get enough stats. And now you get a whole lot of extra skill damage. You get 13 more, you get CDR and healing reduction. And in this meta, everyone needs healing reduction. If you're not running healing reduction in your kit, it's like extremely not advisable for you to do that at this meta, like at this point in the game or point in the meta. So I'm assuming this actually might be the meta Shuriken. Fuhma has been, I don't know, more reworked because people would build Fuhma for the CDR, and then you'd also use it to do a lot of auto damage because see, it has 35, or had 35 EBAT on it. So I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen to Fuhma. I don't play Shuriken, so I can't give you a definitive thing what's going to happen with Fuhma Shuriken used for auto builds. Okay, I think auto attack Shurikens are pretty much gone at this point. Mystic Jade Charm, for some reason, got buffed. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why they buffed Mystic Jade Charm. It was like the most built. It was like the most built Shuriken before, and now it's gold instead of ash. Ash is minimum 2 zones, while gold is just a 1 zone. So it's easier to build, and they buffed it, and people would always run it anyway. You get more skill damage, more charges, and the charge time is a lot less. So why was this buffed? Okay, I don't know why I put a space here. I don't know, okay? First Tyranny are dead. And they're just dead. I already talked about PT. Death Rune, I think Death Rune will see some use. And this is mainly because Hex. This new passive here is honestly insane. I think they might hotfix this, to be honest. This is like one of the strongest passives in the game. Because you get a slow down, as well as you get a big nuke after the slow. The wording of it's slightly confusing, because I don't know if it's going to work that once they hit it with the Hex, you're immune for 5 seconds, but you're still slowed for 4, so in reality it'd be like 1 second. Or if the Hex, or once the Hex wears off, then you're immune for 5 seconds. The wording in this is kind of weird. Yeah, so Death Rune, I think we'll definitely see some use. And I think it'll be real strong. I don't know if it'll be the strongest Shuriken out there, but it is definitely gonna see use. Sudarsana will actually be used. Now that it has skilling up on it, it'll actually be used. So yeah. These are minor. I'm not gonna go over. Pistol. So then there's new pistol. Stampede might be broken. What I mean by that, the stats It's again, the wording is weird, so we'll actually have to see how it is in game. A little bit up. But it's this passive right here. It's a 2 ammo. It has scaling skill amp. You know, honestly, it's a better Devil Marksman as well. So with this thing right here, it makes it sound like this would be as extra skill damage, which is true damage if you don't... Well, it's pretty much true damage. It ignores armor score, but it might just be a mistranslation. So it might not be as strong as I think it is. Let's see. Dang, Devil's Marksman's still dead. Moving on. Yeah, I've already kind of hit on the Kelte nerfs. So... with like each, like 2 main characters, Silvia and Rozzi were the main one, and I even touched Alex. Yeah, those are the main thing, I guess. The axe has been nerfed, but not harp. Harp is the main axe right now, and honestly, that axe is really overstated, and it's pretty much brought Rat Jackie back into the meta, and so they need to address harp and make it not a rat axe. But the axe skill nerf honestly was probably deserved for level 2 because it was, it was doing way too much damage. So, oh yeah, and I said about AR already. Isol's dead from his passive, or not passive, from his ultimate being just killed, and AR Aya's passive has pretty much killed her, and they've already nerfed AR here too. So those mean nothing. Okay, dual sword skill, dual sword rampage. Still sucks. Yeah, it's a little bit better, but it still sucks. That's all I'm gonna say about it. Okay, Aurora Longsword will be broken on Fuhma. This thing is insane. They're increasing the slow, plus you get 60 cellular damage on activation, which is gonna say if someone has like 100 armor, it'd be like 30. So this will be like even more broken than it already is on Fuhma. So yeah, have fun with that. Okay. Sniper skill still sucks. Yeah, nothing else to say. Okay. Blackfire Cannon also sucks. Also still sucks. Don't use this ever, please. If you play Bernice or Sniper Aya, don't use it. Okay. Jitte is broken. And this passive on Topha is insane. Like, if you're playing Topha Hyunwoo, maybe this would save Alex, actually, because Alex builds Topha. But I don't know. This might actually save Alex more than now I'm looking at this again. But this is broken. I'll just say, especially on Hyunwoo. Okay, I think Topha Hyunwoo is going to be the main Hyunwoo now. But I could be wrong. I think, actually, no. I am wrong on that. Topha Hyunwoo will see more use, but Glove will still be in use because of Smolder. Until they nerf Smolder into the dirt, I think Glove will still be stronger than Topha. But this thing is going to be broken on Topha Hue, so I'll definitely see more use. Okay, Fireball nerfed. Finally, this thing was actually really oppressive on Ava, on Adriana, and on Zahir. So, it honestly needed to be nerfed. This is so much skill damage. You're losing 10 extra skill, but it's still going to see a lot of use, so it doesn't really matter as much, but it won't be as oppressive, especially on, like, Adriana or Final Circle. Okay. O's buffed. Again, okay. Why? The characters that use bow, like, this bow sucks. Don't ever build Artemis, please. Artotox is already built so much. Why would they want to buff it? Gilnot, I don't really see any use, to be honest. It's this one that's already used so much, and they buffed it. No idea why. Okay. Swordstopper. Okay, thing with Swordstopper, it was mainly used for the EBAD reduction, but now it has none. So, Sword Stopper. Honestly, Sword Stopper sucks. Okay, that's gonna be maybe a hot take, but I think it honestly sucks now. You lost 10 EBAD reduction and gained 6 defense. EBAD ignores defense, by the way. So basically, this is hot trash on. It's hot trash against EBAD characters, and a lot of characters have like EBAD scaling as part of just their weapon type, and so it's not really going to help. And Thorn sucks as a passive too, so it doesn't really matter. So we have the new Fallen Pegasus. So basically, this is Crystal. Okay, this is Fallen Pegasus is head Cabana or auto attackers. The stats on it seem like really good, especially if you're playing Rapier Fiora specifically, because Rapiers have critical strike damage built in on their weapons. So if you're building a Duradol Mark II plus Creed, and you have your Dobok, and then you generally build Tiara anyway, so you just upgrade to Fallen Pegasus, you're gonna have 60% crit strike damage increase because Creed has 25%. So this is insane. This might bring back Fiora. I'm gonna say might bring back Rapier Fiora. But I already said the two-handed thing is gonna be like real strong on Fiora. So I think this might just bring Fiora more back in the meta. Okay, now I think the biggest thing in this patch is Grimoire. Grimoire is broken. I already can say this. It has no stats on it, by the way. All it is this passive, but this passive is broken. Unless the wording of it is kind of... I already explained the wording from a different weapon. But unless the wording of this is weird, like, you pretty much want to run this on anyone. If you have healing reduction on your weapon or, like, on your arm piece... Not really your arm piece, I guess. But, like, your shoes... You'd want to run this here. I'm honestly going to be testing this on Lenox. Because you don't... Lenox has a healing reduction on her weapon. And this would be, like, perfect for her. The slow is, like, real nice. 12% slow. I think this is actually true damage, not skill damage anymore. I haven't refreshed this page. But, yeah. So, even if this is true damage, it's still going to be, like, a hard nuke. 125 plus 150% skill amp. You might be doing... If you have, let's say, 50% skill amp, then you're going to be doing... 150 of 50 would be 75. So you'd be doing 200 damage if you have 50% skill amp, which is not that unreasonable, to be honest. Like, if you're playing a spell amp character. If you're using this as an auto attacker, which you honestly is still fine, you're just not going to get as hard of a nuke with it. But the slow, 4 seconds slow is insane. So if this is going to be broken on release. I'm going to say it's going to be probably hot fixed. I would not be surprised if it was. It is a 3-zone recipe, by the way, because Flower Fates is 2, and then you need paper. But you're probably going to build your route around this item. Okay, this is minor. I'll just say briefly, you can't craft multiple shoes for your movement mastery. It won't be as effective anymore, which is okay. I guess the next thing, the box changes are nice. Like, this one is like a pain in the butt before, so good change. Good change. Minor. CCTV. Okay, so the main things I'll address here is with Allie, CCTV, you can't see the TP anymore. This is going to be important for certain characters like Adriana, who would often throw like a cocktail party at the TP if she like knew someone there to interrupt them. And pretty much just any character with like a long range interrupt, but it's mainly Adriana would do that. And you also just won't know who's TPing out in general. Okay, Sentry. It's shown here. But yeah, I'll show it up in this main map actually. You see the added SEM CCTV? Okay. is broken. It covers way too many zones. Look, you can pretty much see all of Cemetery at this point. You can see this. You'll be able to see like here, 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 here. Like, other than up here, and the only times you go up here is for Cemetery first night, and if you're gonna catch the fish here, or Wick comes down this way. But every other time, no one's ever gonna be up here. So some CCTV is gonna be broken. Dock is fine. I think everywhere else is like not too bad. But yeah, I think that one's broken now. It gives way too much vision. They probably need to change it. And yeah, if you play team modes, I haven't played much team modes, especially not this season. But I'll just highlight the main things for my understanding of teams is Nadine got buffed in squads. And this is a why, because Nadine is so strong. She just like pokes people from afar with her Q. You build spell amp on her and just nuke someone for 1000 HP. I don't know why they buffed her. Nikki got nerfed in duo squads, which is fair. I think that's like the main thing because they were quite strong. Yeah, but yeah, I don't really know too much. But those would be, I'd say. Yeah, I guess, and Rio also got nerfed in duos. And I get in squads too. But this was just like deserved. Because Rio is like one of the most used characters. And yeah, I don't remember anything else specifically. None of these bug fixes I don't think are major. Yeah, okay. None of these bug fixes are major at all. If there is one I'm missing, feel free to also let me know in the comments. None of these seem like they got buffed at all in any way. And yeah, nothing in the lobby improvements that's major at all. So yeah, these are my main thoughts of this patch. And this is, again, specifically for people who play Lenox, because that's who I main. There's a bug with Lenox alt. Lenox alt lead is still broken. This has something to do, I think, with like how the movement vector thing works. So yeah, this is still broken. I'll list the ones I do know that are still big problems. Nath upon E is still broken, and Lead Islands E is still broken. These are the bugs that are still broken right now. There's no mention of them in this here. So I'm sorry if you play this. I haven't seen this one as much lately. I've had it happen to me once in ranked game. Like there's like minor things, like ult bleed doesn't work on wild animals at all. I don't know why. I think it has to do something with the movement. That's not here, but yeah, these are the, I guess, for bugs, these three ones here. And I think, oh yeah, okay. Let me just say the things that I think are missing from this patch. The things that are missing in this patch that should have been addressed are Heart and Nadine were not nerfed for some reason. These characters have been doing really well, and even like the stats reflect this. I'm not sure about Nadine's stats, but Heart's stats definitely reflect they're doing really well, and I don't know why neither of them were touched this patch. So that's one thing. I think another thing is the final circle really needs to be addressed soon. What I mean by this, the way that it currently is set up is like really bad, and people just kind of head boom. And you pretty much what you want to do now in this meta is you don't want to use any of your red zone timer, if possible, because the way you can win final circle is if you have more timer. And I think this mechanic is not the best, to be honest, because you could be the strongest person in the lobby, but if you have like less timer than someone else, they can just time you out, and I think that's not how this should be played. So yeah, I think this needs some addressing. Final circle or like final area, you know. It doesn't have to be like the last 2 or 3 people, whatever, and that like final box around the console. I mean, also just like the mini zones beforehand. Those definitely need to be addressed still. Okay, and then I guess the last change I'll also just say is that they haven't really shaken up the meta. This is just like a general thing, is that the characters that have been strong since Season 1 the characters that have been strong since Season 1 are still the strongest characters in the game. Jukai's still strong, Hyejin's still strong, Silvia's still strong, Heart is like made like S tier, but like the other characters are still like top tier characters, and they have been for like a long time. Emma, right? So these are characters that have been strong for a while, and they haven't been really touched. I'd like to say like different characters shine and be like more at the top of their game, or like shine more, but yeah, I think that's one of the main things with this patch. So yeah, if you like this style of video, please give it a like and subscribe for more ERBS content. I hope to see you in the next video.